Hey there everyone, we're back with the helmet lights. Have an update from testing these guys. We put this one together, took it out for a little ride the other day. It did pretty well. It was sort of a daytime ride, so it really wasn't to see how it would perform from a light perspective. But I did give it a really good test. Rode under a branch and managed to just about take off my head because I thought it was I was lower than I actually was, and this took one hell of a knock, but it stayed in place. The Velcro held, the light itself held. It didn't seem to change position. It actually didn't move off the helmet at all either, so I was pretty impressed by that. This is actually the original one. I think I was testing this one, and as I said, I was pretty impressed. So one of the things that I was looking into was seeing how these pieces of plastic would glue together using the Gorilla Glue. It's this stuff. I thought I'd bring this in a little closer so you could see. It's just simply clear Gorilla Glue that I find really works well. Now I glued this together a couple of hours ago. I wanted to see how it would hold. Now it's still it's rubberized and it's still a bit loose. You can see the movement, so I'm going to give this a good 24 hours to set up. Right now I think I could easily pull this apart. On another note, I said I was going to get some new lights in. What I'm going to do is I've actually got one, and I'm going to post the makeup of the light so you guys can see where it comes from and what it looks like. It's a handlebar light. Typically it's got, I don't think I need these batteries right now. It's got, this is what it looks like. It comes with this little assembly here, and essentially this light was screwed down in here, okay? And this would clip to your handlebar. So I took that apart, and I had to use a little bit of a heat from a soldering iron to get the nut to break loose from inside here, because the guys that put it together use red Loctite. I have no idea why, but I guess they didn't want it coming loose under any circumstances but burning your bike up. So okay, with that resolved, now what's really neat about this is there's a little black push knob thing here. So you push that, light comes off, okay? So that's what makes this really interesting. It's pretty bright. Yeah, just blind everybody with it. That's dim. That's it's got 3 levels of brightness: medium, and that's as bright as it gets. Then there's the strobe, and there's the SOS in case you're lying there and need some help. So I haven't tested this outside yet, but it looks like it's going to be pretty effective. It's not these stupid little LEDs in here. What's actually in there is these chip LEDs that they use in the other lights, but they've put these small optically clear plastic pieces in that help act like a light channel that brings the light out. So I'm concerned that the beams on these might be a bit narrow, and I haven't tested the length that the lights, the duration of burn with them on the high beam. So that's something I'm going to test today and get an update back to you guys. Now this again, just a little piece of plastic with some of that Gorilla Glue on the bottom. And what I did was, to get this apart, you take these 2 screws out. This comes off. This little push tab that locks that in place comes off, and there's just a screw that's held in, that I used a washer and nut. This is like a M4 nut that's got some nylon in it, so it's typically called a nylock nut. That holds this in place, and it's really, really effective. I've been, like messing with this, and it's strong. So what I'm going to do is, this is my normal riding helmet. It's one of these Mavic helmets. For some reason I like the shape and the color. It matches my bike. I've got the specialized Angie sensor on the back here for when I go off riding on my own. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just going to, at some point, get this fit. I'm going to put the piece of Velcro on the bottom that I normally have here, the Velcro to the top to give the light some stability. And then I'm going to cut these down, find the most appropriate place, cut this plastic down, and I'm either going to fasten it down here, or I'm going to, damn it, come on here. I'm going to fasten it, you know, up, no, I think that's going to be where it's going to go. The Velcro may go between here and here, just to give me a nice long hold point, but I think that'll be most effective. So yeah, and like I was saying, what makes this really easy is this is actually slightly keyed, so it's sort of shaped like a triangle, so you can only put this in one way, right? This way it doesn't fit, and sorry, so this way back in, and it locks in place, and that's really secure. This isn't too heavy. It's got a USB charging port on the back. It's waterproof, which is really good, or let's say highly water resistant. I'm quite sure you go for a swim with this thing, it would die. And as I said, I'll get back to you on this one. Back to my old Specialized. I tried something a little different the other day. I used a Dremel and I cut some holes in this piece of Lexan, and I ran the Velcro straps through, and I strapped this through some easy points here, and the piece of Velcro that I have here provided a really secure point. Now what I found was this would move after a while, but just to replicate what happened with the other helmet when I hit the tree, I tried this and I gave this a good whack. Unfortunately it was more of a swinging whack, but all it did was get a little bit loose, which meant I could keep riding, and which also meant I didn't lose light in the direction that I was riding. So that kept me going where I needed to, long enough to stop. And I'm just using some really short, crappy pieces of Velcro here, but if you were to get some of these longer, stronger ones from places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Michael's, chances are that you'd have a little bit more strength in terms of the mounting. But this, even though this moves, I can still see. This is post whack, so I didn't retighten this afterwards. So if I was really, focused on locking this down, I'm quite sure that it would be a lot stronger than this. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was I use cameras by the Apeman guys that sell them on Amazon. One's an Apeman A-80, and the other one is the A-77. So the A-80 is the more advanced camera, but that depends. They both have similar features. The A-77 has sort of a degraded stabilization, or none at all, using the gyro that is supposed to help keep the video steady. What I've discovered with this A-80 is a lot of my footage has pixelation, and I'm going to post some video of a ride I did the other day that shows with the gyro on and with the gyro stabilization turned off, mounted on my Theotech WGX2 gimbal. So it shows you the difference. Personally, I dislike what the gyro is doing when there's a lot of movement, because it really causes the image to get, or the image quality to be degraded. So it almost looks like you're recording in a 480 or even a 320 mode. So it really looks ugly. Whereas with the gyro turned off, the gimbal takes over and you get a bit of vibration, but the images are a lot crisper. And I did this recording at the 4K level, but it's 4K at 24 frames per second. So these are, I would say, introductory or mid-level cameras. They do what I've sort of expected them to do to a point. I'm going to experiment potentially with a GoPro in the spring to decide whether it's worthwhile investing the additional. But you're talking about, you know, an $80 camera versus a $400, and these are Canadian dollars, so there's a big difference. And for me, I don't need them for anything other than the action camera. I need them to take that licking and keep on ticking, because I can be pretty hard on equipment, as evidenced by the lights. So that's it for today. Check the footage out below, the following footage of the two different modes with the gyros on and off. I did this with the A-80 camera. The A-77 doesn't have it, or I have to go digging through it a little bit more, and I'll let you know as I move forward if I think it's worthwhile having to upgrade to a GoPro. So far, not. Anyway, thanks. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the trail. Take care. Have a great day. Alright, starting the 1 hour timer. This is a lie. It's actually, I'm running a 44-minute timer because I just don't trust that these things are going to give me the time that they claim. Let's see what happens. It's a meltdown. Before we jump on this snow, just hold up a second. I just want to stop and make an adjustment. Okay, so I've turned the gyroscope function on this A-80. Let's see. Oh, damn it, if I can get my fingers back in these gloves. Thank you. So that's kitchen sink ridge. So the last however long I've been riding with gyro stabilization on. This is where people have been coming, climbing the fence when they come through from that kitchen sink. This is all kitchen sink. Speed is your friend through things like this, okay? If you slow down on things like that, keep left, that's how you slide out and end up going for a swim. When we get to the bottom of this, I'm going to stop and turn off the gyro function on this again and see what it looks like on the way back. Or so we can see what it will look like on the way back. That damn squeak noise is this bloody harness for the camera. And I guess we could have gone down to Don Valley to do this too, huh? Oops, I forgot to bring my saw. Chelsea's going down the hill. Here she goes. Hill killer. Jeez, this muddy.